We're at a time right now in the United States where we have 209 physical therapy schools. The average class size is about 42 to 45, but fully 25% of the schools cannot fill their classes. I have 3 classes a year I bring in, January, May, and August, and I have 55 students a class, and I could take twice the number. We have over 200 to 300 applicants for each one of our classes. Most of those students are qualified. We just can't take them. We're opening another school. We're located right now in, and we'll stay there, of course, in St. Augustine, Florida. It's the nation's oldest city in America, United States. But we're opening also in San Diego. Now, in San Diego, there's no physiotherapy school. The 9th largest metropolitan area in the United States, no physical therapy school. Yet in Los Angeles, 100 miles north, there's about 7 schools. So you would say, well, why isn't there one in San Diego? Well, higher education, traditionally in America, has not followed the business model. I never intended to start a university, but I came to America when I left New Zealand, and I was on the faculty of Boston University. And it was there, I thought naturally, because they gave me the job, a young man that I was at 26. I'd published a book. My first article had been published in the New Zealand Medical Journal, incidentally turned down by the Physiotherapy Journal, but published in the New Zealand Medical Journal. I got this job at university, fully expecting I'd be teaching in my area. But when they read what my area was, spinal manipulation, they said I couldn't teach, practice, edit, write, or associate myself in any way with it. So I resigned within 48 hours. The dean gave me this letter saying I couldn't practice, edit, write, publish, lecture, or any way associate myself with spinal manipulative therapy until such time as it had been proven to be clinically efficacious and safe. I couldn't accept those terms, so I resigned within 48 hours, but we did work out an agreement that I'd continue for 8 months. At the same time, I had set up arrangements with 1 or 2 chapters to give presentations, 1 or 2 states, organizations. And my university cancelled one of them without my even knowing about it, saying that I hadn't gained medical approval to speak outside of the university. I felt humiliated, but I also felt my profession was humiliated, because we certainly were not being treated professionally. Here we were, a degree program, graduating bachelors of science in physical therapy, yet we could not do a thing that the medical advisory board didn't want us to do. While I was there, however, I developed a Master's of Science in Physical Therapy, an outline for a program enabling us to specialize. At that time, we had no graduate degrees in physical therapy. We came in with a diploma in New Zealand, and same in America, but then we had moved to the bachelor's. But if you wanted to carry on, you had to go and get a master's in education or something. There was no master's in orthopedics or no masters in geriatrics or cardiopulmonary, and I felt it was time for that. There was sufficient knowledge. A few people had it, but no one was teaching it in a university environment. So the physical therapy program agreed to that. But again, the medical advisory board and the dean turned it down. And at Emory University, again, I made a similar proposal for a master's, and again, it was turned down. So I had a number of assets by that time, and so I looked at the state law in several states, and I found out that in Georgia, it was possible to start a university. So it was an old law that was on the books. No one had started one in many, many years, as far as I know. So I applied, and of course the state said, well, you can't do that. And I said, why not? And that started a struggle that went on for quite a while. And finally, the whole physical therapy community was supporting me, including 2 established programs in Atlanta, Georgia, supported me in my endeavor to get a special degree going, and it was clear that it was what's wanted. So I started, I gained a license to start the Institute of Graduate Physical Therapy. And we graduated people with a Master's of Health Science degree. Now, that was licensed, but not accredited. There was nobody that said it had a stamp of approval. It just had a state license. No matter. The graduates were well respected. They attained some very fine jobs. And actually, Emory University sent most of the students in our program came through Emory University. People in the military wanted to come to my program. but the military wouldn't pay for the tuition because we weren't accredited. So they went to Emory University, and Emory sent them over to my university, and I gave them 80% of the education. Emory gave them the degree. But that gave us credibility. So I'm going to say 17 years later, it was obvious to everybody we had a quality program, and the Office of Education in the United States government, through one of its agencies, accredited us. And so now we became a nationally accredited school. That enabled me to start a physical therapy school at the ground up. So now I could take people who had a bachelor's degree and bring them to my school for a first professional master's. See, in America, you need a bachelor's to get into physical therapy school. And in that bachelor's, you have to have biology, physics, chemistry, and so on. So you then come to physical therapy school, which at that time was graduating a master's degree. And so we started. And we got it accredited by our professional body as well as by the Office of Education. And then that became one of the first doctoral programs in America. And because we're well recognized, and because we've been teaching seminars all around the country for many years, and got an extensive faculty, and our graduates are of such quality, within a short time we've grown to be the largest physical therapy school in the United States, I guess possibly therefore the world. We also have an occupational therapy program, and it's the third largest in the United States. Our core values, I think, are what are important. Patient first. Patient first. If I'm ever having a difficult decision, I always think about what's best for the patient, and then the student, and then the university. So if I'm thinking about a student who's really not doing well and they're not very safe, if I think just about the university, I'd continue to educate them and receive their dollars. If I thought about the student, well, I'd say, well, maybe I'll continue to educate them because we might be able to help them. But if I think about the patient and this student is not competent or safe, there's no way they will proceed any further. So it's patient first, then therapist, then university. And those are our core values.